What if everything you've been taught about human evolution is only half the story? Picture this. A discovery so shocking it rewrites the history of our species, buried for decades because it challenges what we think we know. Ready to uncover the truth? The myths we've been sold. You've probably seen those charts in school, right? The ones where a monkey slowly stands up, turns into a caveman, then into a modern human. It's a neat, tidy story, almost like a comic strip. But here's the thing. It's not the full truth. That ape-to-man idea is what we grew up with. But evolution isn't a straight line. It's more like a messy, tangled tree with branches going all over the place. So why do we keep hearing this simple version? Well, it's easy to teach for one. It's catchy, fits on a poster, and makes a good story. Back when scientists first came up with it, they didn't have the tools we have now, like DNA testing or fancy ways to date fossils. They did their best, but those old ideas stuck around. The problem is, these myths can trick us. They make us think human evolution was a done deal, like we've got it all figured out. But the truth is way more exciting. For example, we used to think Neanderthals were just dumb cavemen who died out because we, the smarter homo sapiens, showed up. Nope. Fossils and DNA tell us Neanderthals were skilled hunters, made tools, and even created art. And get this, most of us have a bit of Neanderthal DNA in us. Our ancestors didn't just replace them, they mixed with them. Another myth? That humans evolved in one spot, like a single cradle in Africa. That's only half the story. Africa's where our species kicked off. But new finds show our ancestors were moving, mixing, and adapting all over the place. These old stories also skip over the weird stuff, like how different human species lived at the same time. Ever heard of the Denisovans? They're a mysterious group we only found out about recently, thanks to a tiny bone fragment. They lived alongside Neanderthals and early Homo sapiens, and guess what? They mixed too. Evolution wasn't a straight march. It was a big, messy family reunion. The more we dig, the more we realize how much we've been missing. These myths aren't just outdated. They've been holding us back from seeing the real, wild story of who we are. Hidden discoveries that change everything now. Let's talk about the stuff they don't teach in school. Discoveries that flip everything we thought we knew. Take the Denisovans I mentioned earlier. A few years ago, scientists found a single finger bone in a Siberian cave. That tiny piece of bone rewrote history. DNA analysis showed it belonged to a whole new human species, one we didn't even know existed. These Denisovans weren't just hanging out in Siberia. Their DNA shows up in people today, especially in parts of Asia and the Pacific. That means our ancestors were mixing with all kinds of human groups, not just Neanderthals. Then there's the tech our ancestors used. We used to think early humans were pretty basic. Stone tools, maybe a spear. But finds like the ones in South Africa's Blombos cave show, people were making complex tools, jewelry, and even art over 70,000 years ago. That's way earlier than we thought. These weren't simple cavemen. They were thinking, creating, and trading. And don't get me started on the fossils. In places like Morocco, scientists found Homo sapiens skulls dating back 300,000 years, way older than the official timeline. That means our species was around and probably spreading out much earlier than we thought. So why were these finds ignored for so long? Sometimes it's politics. Science can be slow to accept new ideas that challenge old ones. Other times, it's just bad luck. Fossils get buried in storage, or funding runs dry. But these discoveries are piling up, and they're forcing us to rethink everything. From ancient DNA to fancy tools, the evidence is clear. Our story is bigger, weirder, and way more connected than we ever imagined. It's not just about one group winning out. It's about a web of humans, sharing ideas, genes, and survival tricks across the world. The real story of us. So what's the real story of human evolution? It's not a straight line or a single cradle. It's a global adventure. Our ancestors, Homo sapiens, started in Africa, sure, but they didn't stay put. They moved, explored, and ran into other human species like Neanderthals and Denisovans. Instead of wiping them out, they shared campfires, swapped stories, and, mixed genes. This wasn't a solo journey. It was a team effort. Different human groups adapted to crazy environments, deserts, icy mountains, tropical islands. They figured out how to hunt, fish, and even make art, passing those skills around like a prehistoric internet. What makes this story so cool is how it shows our resilience. Take the Ice Age. Our ancestors didn't just survive it, they thrived. They built shelters, sewed clothes, and invented new tools. And they didn't do it alone. Evidence from ancient DNA shows how much mixing happened. Your DNA might carry bits from a Neanderthal in Europe or a Denisovan in Asia. That's not just a cool fact. It's proof we're all part of a bigger, connected story. Our ancestors weren't lone heroes. They were collaborators, learning from each other to survive. This new picture of evolution isn't just about bones or tools. It's about us. It shows we've always been curious, creative, and tough. The real story of human evolution is messy, complicated, and honestly, pretty awesome. It's not about being the best species. It's about adapting, connecting, and keeping going, no matter what. So next time you hear that old ape-to-man story, remember, the truth is way wilder. Want to dive deeper into this? Hit that subscribe button, share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep exploring where we really came from.